on Womanpreneur with Helen Apiampofo. Right now we get into a conversation with Ernest Orton. He is the interim chairman of the Global Fund Country Coordinating Mechanism in Ghana. Also, David Kwesi Afre is executive secretary of Stop TB Partnership in Ghana. Will be joined via phone by LCI, president of the National Association of Persons Living with this HIV. And this morning we are asking a very simple question: the free HIV, TB, and malaria drugs, have they been locked up to expire? Sarah Apankro is my colleague here. She's been crisscrossing the country finding out some more. She put this story together. We'll listen to it and then get a chronology of the events that have happened before this conversation. And then we'll talk to the big boys. Let's hear Sarah's story on the much spoken about conversation.
Beginning with, TV3 has gathered that the Global Fund has expressed its displeasure with the ongoing situation regarding the non-clearance of its donor-funded essential health commodities at the country's port for over a year. The fund at the just-ended World Health Summit in Geneva sent a strong signal to the Ghanaian delegation that it may sever ties with the country if the commodities are not cleared as a matter of urgency. Here's a report by Sarah Pencrow.
The delay in clearing the medications has been attributed to the government's inability to provide funding to cover the cost of ECOWAS and African Union levies on the drugs. These crucial commodities from the Global Fund aimed at supporting HIV, TB, and malaria programs have been sitting at the port since May last year, causing increasing concern, with some civil society organizations threatening to demonstrate. Stakeholders for months have warned that the country may run out of antiretroviral and other critical medications. Our checks reveal the country is experiencing imminent shortages of TB and HIV drugs at health facilities. Concerns have also been rife as Ghana risks not receiving further supplies of essential medical commodities if challenges in the clearance of donor commodities at the ports persist.
We have impressed upon government as hard as we can, but it looks like government is simply not interested. Government is simply not listening. And at this point, we just don't know what to do again. Some will be expiring in early first quarter 2025. So we're going to have a situation where a lot of the commodities will go unused. You are given medications, you fail to use them, and then when they expire, you still go back to the same donor and ask for money to dispose of the medicines. It doesn't speak well of us as a country.
According to the interim chairman of the Country Coordinating Mechanism, the Global Fund has threatened to take a drastic decision.
Since the establishment of Global Fund in 2002, this is the first time they are witnessing such a situation. The Global Fund is very much worried about this situation. So they told the health minister that if the commodities are not cleared, they are going to severe ties with Ghana, because they have run out of excuses to their donors when they ask them about what is happening in Ghana.
Though the government maintains the containers of drugs at the port have been cleared, the Global Fund Country Coordinating Mechanism says otherwise.
So what we are told is that after waiving the taxes, there were some third-party charges that amounted to about 7 million Ghana cedis. And so we negotiated with the Global Fund and asked them if they can support us with some payment. So they did. The expectation is that it will trigger the clearing of the goods. The last meeting we had with the grant manager in Geneva during the World Health Assembly, in the words of the grant manager, this is an existential issue. They are intending to sever relationships, but they are only hanging on because of the people of Ghana.
Meanwhile, Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Siasari has reassured the government's commitment to clear the commodities at the port, though he's unable to give a timeline.
It's an unfortunate situation. We are still working on it. Because if we leave things in the port for a long time, it will create damages. That's where the problem is. We are finding a solution to it. Anybody who is listening to me that is supposed to do something about it should just sign the paper and let us move on and clear all of them from the port.
As a former Director General of the Ghana Health Service, also Senior Presidential Advisor on everything health, he looks and sounds helpless. He's begging his subordinates to do something before they die. Sarah, now this is a case of locked to be expired, right?
Yeah.
How long have these medicines, which were given to us for free, been at the port?
Per the bill of lading I last saw, I think almost a year and a half. Yes.
Almost 1.5 years.
Yes.
Sitting at the port. This is free medicine for HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria. Or what else is in the container?
We have all the commodities for HIV, AIDS management in the country. We have the TB, we have malaria drugs, as well as the nets and all other things that is needed for management.
Dr. Siasari has the ears of the president. If he is this helpless, then I can only imagine the other bureaucrats who are saying yes, Amasa pushing paper, what they could be going through. What do you know?
Well, Johnny, as a health reporter, it gets very frustrating because you keep going to the same authorities who are expected to know what is really happening, to be answerable to the people, and it appears they do not know. You have conflicting answers from each quarters you go to. I mean, consistently, the Ministry of Health had spoken and told us the commodities were going to be cleared. We even had a public show of the GRA boss,
some 14 of the containers were cleared. Right, I remember that. It was tweeted, and we had a whole ceremony for it. 14 out of how many at the time?
At the time, they said 182.
Right.
And so as at now, they keep saying we are clearing, but we do not know how many have been cleared and how many is left. But the funny thing is that we have done our checks, and you know, as at 22nd of May, we've run out of isoniazid, 300 milligram, ethambutol, 400 milligram, clofazimine, 100 milligram, and a couple of the drugs have run out. We have spoken to the patients and they are concerned. And it's just one of the containers that contain TB medication. So if you can at least release the TB container so that the hospitals can have the medications. I was told that now we had to be doing rotation, or what we call shifting cultivation. So drugs are being moved from a facility to the other. We'll call the other facility if you have medication, and then we pick it and give it to the client. A patient.
Shall I have malaria medicine, or do you have TB? Because I don't have malaria patient. Then you give them, and then they give you the TB medicine back. Or what?
Exactly.
That's what they are doing now.
So what has happened is that if you have the TB medication, I don't have, and my patients need it, I call you, and then you release some for me to give to my patients. And the funny thing is that one of the patients I spoke to usually gets his 1 month supply when he goes to the facility. But they are no longer getting the 1 month, 3 month supplies they need before they go back. They are getting it in short. He was given just for 3 weeks, and it was finished last week. And so he has to go and get his medication, and he's anxious.
Sarah, thank you very much indeed for your time. Let me get to Ernest Otin. Ernest, you are the interim chairman of Global Fund Country Coordinating Mechanism, Ghana. When you first heard that you have brought free medicine into the country to help the government, and use the microphone for me, please, to help the government and the people, and then you were asked to pay money to get the goods cleared, what ran through your mind?
Okay, thank you very much, and a very good morning to our listeners. So the Global Fund, since 2002, has been sending commodities to the country. And what normally happens is that when these commodities are coming, they add extra money for clearance. They call it the PSM cost. So, with reference to this particular incident, the same PSM cost of 1% was added. That has been the practice throughout the years. And that is the same practice in all other countries where Global Fund sends commodities. Now, in our case, what happened was that last year, when the commodities were shipped in country, government said, initially, said our port charges had gone up.
Right.
And so the money that the Global Fund sent will be insufficient to clear the commodities.
Government was not willing to add on to it.
Exactly.
They were asking you, who were bringing the free medicine, to also top up for clearing the medicine.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
Then Global Fund said no. The practice globally is that the PSM cost is 1%. So there's no way we can add extra money.
Right.
Besides, these are donor funds, so they're not supposed to be used to pay taxes. So if you have introduced your own taxes and it is causing a problem for you, you should be able to deal with it. For us, we've done our part by giving you the commodities. Then government became reluctant to now touch the medicines. So back and forth, the medications were now left in the pots.
I want to understand something. You're bringing free medicine and you're being asked to pay tax on the free medicine you're bringing. Is that the understanding?
The understanding is that all goods that are cleared from the ports attract some levies, some taxes, and so on and so forth. And the Global Fund normally would add some money for all those charges and all of that.
Right.
But in this case, government was saying that our tax rates have gone up. And so Global Fund should add extra money.
So essentially, government was asking you to pay taxes that they had imposed.
Exactly.
On free medicine that you were bringing.
Exactly.
Executive Secretary, Stop TB Partnership Ghana. Mr. Afre, sorry. I'm getting confused, and this doesn't sound right to me at all. How did you take it as well when you heard this back and forth? How did you take it?
Oh yes, I'm a member of the country coordinating mechanism of the Global Fund, and so this is my able chair.
Right.
We are all taken aback, and it's not like civil society was asleep. Several engagement. It will interest you to know that he's taking over from Kokwa Jimamenu, Honorable Kokwa Jimamenu, former Minister of Health.
Right.
So we had the whole Minister of Health in charge of the Global Fund.
With you?
Yes. When this whole bro has
and he couldn't
help himself. He couldn't help the CCM. We virtually had to take him on one of the meetings and say, look, we are getting disappointed because if there's anybody closer to the president, it is you, Honorable Kokwa Jimamenu. And so if we have the whole Minister of Health sitting in the realms of Global Fund in Ghana, and issues of Global Fund and commodities of Global Fund that need to be cleared, and the Minister of Health could not clear, could not help us, could not talk to the president, could not convene a meeting with Ghana Port and Harbour, could not convene a meeting with GRA, could not convene a meeting with Minister of Finance, and whoever is supposed to make sure that clearances are given for the commodities to come to save lives. And then we are taken aback.
So you heard Dr. Ansiasari.
Yes.
He is the senior advisor to everything on health.
He of the president.
He himself is helpless. He says whoever has to do something, they should do something. That for me, it tells a certain breakdown of our systems to the point where even our social protection standpoint, for people who are vulnerable, they have malaria, HIV, tuberculosis, and their medicines are stuck, and all we can say is, if somebody can do something, let the person do it immediately so that the medicines are released. I don't know if you see the same picture as I see.
We do. And you see, it's the same. It's kind of the same thing that was happening to the former Minister of Health. And it's like as if nobody has power. It's like nobody knows what to do, because if it has taken more than a year, and the Honorable Minister of Health himself is sitting as the chairman of Global Fund and having direct conversations with the Global Fund and knows the issues into details. It's as simple as that. It will interest you to know, before he entered CCM to contest to become the chairman of Global Fund, he said, look, the president sent me to come here because he understands there are challenges here.
That was his campaign message.
I'm telling you. I spoke to Kokwa Jimamenu directly because I contested with him. I wanted to be the chair at the time.
And he won over you.
He won over me.
And he said that the president sent him to come and solve the problems.
He spoke to me in confidence. He said, yeah, I would have stepped aside, but this is what. So at a point in time, I asked him, but you have the ear of the president.
Right.
And you are here, and he virtually was also complaining to us. And it was like, so if the Minister of Health is complaining to we members of CCM, who should we go to? Because if we have challenge at CCM, we should be going to the Minister of Health.
That's right.
And the Minister of Health should be able to link us to this select committee on health. It should be able to link us with the Minister of Finance.
That's right.
It should be able to engage maybe a tripartite meeting between these bodies and Ghana Revenue Authority.
That's right.
So that whatever waivers we have to clear off the way, we clear them, because these are a lot. And he also comes to complain to us as if there's nothing he can do, there's nothing the president can do, or he's not able to speak. I don't know. And so Nsiasari's statement, I think, deepening the fear
that you have had.
Yeah, it's deepening the fear, and the fear is that TB drugs are in shortage now. And if these TB drugs are life-saving drugs, if you have TB, you will die.
If you don't have the drugs.
If you don't have the drugs, you will die. And if you are on treatment for TB, and along the line you have shortage. In fact, when you run away from the drugs, or after taking it for 2-3 months and you are lost to follow up, or there is no medication to give you, what happens is that if you are a normal TB patient, you develop drug-resistant TB. And if you are already a drug-resistant TB, you will develop multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis. And if you are already multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis, you will become extra multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis. And what is funny, what is serious is this. If any of these patients are the one, if I carry any of this infection into your studio now, I will infest you with whatever level of disease I have.
Because you are not on medication.
Yes, exactly.
I see.
But once you are on medication for 2 weeks, the efficacy is...
let me ask you, so what is holding the drugs at the port now? So many institutions have been mentioned. GR has been mentioned. Select Committee, Parliament have been mentioned. By the way, are they aware? The Select Committee in Parliament, are they aware of the situation?
Just about 2 weeks ago, we were in Geneva.
Okay.
And the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health,
Dr. Bedi,
Dr. Eju,
right.
He was part of the meeting. The ranking member, Honorable Kwabena Minta Kando, was part of the meeting.
Okay.
So they are all fully aware of these issues.
And what have they said about it?
You know, this whole thing is very strange. And it takes me back to your opening remarks that it looks like there is a deliberate, a very intentional thing going on. People just want the drugs to expire for no reason. I am tired of explaining what the problems are. I've come to the conclusion that this is intentional. This is deliberate. Somebody, for whatever reason, just wants the drugs to expire at the port. Because
so that what will happen?
Well, we don't know. Because it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. The Global Fund has told us. He told the minister in the presence of all these persons I mentioned, including the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, the NHI CEO, they're all there. And then they said, if you don't clear these commodities, we are going to stop funding you because we are coming under pressure from our donors. They are asking what is happening in Ghana.
Okay.
What is happening in Ghana?
And this is more than 1 year.
More than 1 year. And the drugs are just sitting down. So is it that people just don't care? People.
How much money are they expecting for you to add on to clear the goods?
Okay, so now the issue has even become more convoluted.
Okay.
In the sense that initially they were asking the Global Fund to pay for the extra monies. Then Global Fund said it was not due to our fault that you had these challenges and all these demurrage costs and all of that. So the best we can do, based on our calculations, is that we'll give you $85,000 extra.
Okay.
So government find
the extra money, right?
Yes. Because government had said that the total amount being owed was 7 million Ghana cedis. And so they need to pay to their clearing agents.
Okay.
So the clearing agents can then clear the
I don't understand. Government says they want 7 million from you.
No, from wherever.
To give to which
the clearing agents. That's the Ghana Supply Company.
But who does the port belong to?
No, so that's why I'm saying this whole thing.
And who was this person demanding the 7 million?
It's a ministry.
The ministry whose minister was chairman until you became chairman.
Exactly.
Says that they want 7 million.
Yes.
To be conjured from where?
We don't know. Initially, it was $3.6 million that they were claiming.
Is this going to an individual, a third party of a sort, a private company?
We don't know. The whole thing has become very shady. And I remember the Global Fund grant manager describing the whole thing as a black box in front of all of us, because nobody really seems to understand what is going on.
The opacity is beyond comprehension.
At every point, the story changes. Wow. So the Global Fund comes to add the extra $85,000.
Oh, you brought the money?
Yes, it's been paid just last month.
And what is holding it then again?
We don't know. So the whole thing is very strange.
And you say there's a threat to say that, look, if you don't clear this and then it expires, we will sever relationships with you. Yeah. But you also said in that SOT that, look, the medicines will start expiring.
Yes.
Some by first quarter of 2025.
Yes.
Then, really, why do we still? I don't get it. If by first quarter 2025 the medicines will expire, why is there no sense of urgency to go and pick it?
That is the strangest part in all of this. There was no sense of urgency on the part of anyone. It's liturgy all around. And that is why I have come to the conclusion that this is very deliberate, this is very intentional. To what end, we don't know. But it's very obvious this is very deliberate and very intentional.
But Mr. Frey, you have given us a picture of what could happen, the worst case scenario that could happen if people don't have the medication, which means that the infections will spread.
Yes.
So that's what
we'll have a lot of death.
You are speaking in respect of TB.
Yes.
But then there's also the HIV angle.
Yes.
And then the malaria angle. Malaria, which also kills.
Yes.
And people think that malaria is just some joke. It paralyzes people, etc., etc.
Yes.
If you met the president today, what will you tell him regarding this situation? Because it appears the president hasn't made a public pronouncement about it.
We need an executive instruction. That is why any media house I go, I don't talk to the ministers, I don't talk to anybody again. The president just have to issue an executive instrument. Clear all the life-saving commodities of the Global Fund. Let's go back to the table and discuss the issue. What exactly is the problem? If there is any... Look, I remember the statement the president made when COVID came.
Right.
He said we know how to pay debt, but we don't
know how to bring the economy back, but we don't know how to bring back human lives.
If you have more than 100,000 people on HIV treatment, for TB, every day somebody is diagnosed. Every month you have more than 1,000 human beings coming on to treatment for TB. As we speak, coming from January to today, we have more than 6,000 people who need a drug.
Whoa.
And they swallow it every day.
Whoa.
And you need to be on the drug for 6 months to have a cure. And so the president just have to hear this. Wherever he is, give an executive instruction to the port. Let them clear the Global Fund commodities, get them into the central stores, let the central stores disperse them to the regions. Let's have the life-saving drugs into the system. Then we can come back to sit and discuss what money must be paid.
How does it sound to you that our parliament, in fact, our executive makes a proposal to parliament to say, I list companies, right, including a Chinese oil refinery company, and so we are giving them tax waivers worth millions of dollars. Say, take it for free, don't pay anything. And then somebody is bringing us something for free, and we say, pay money before I clear it from the port. And if it stays there and expires, you have to come and pay money to clear it. How does that sound to you?
It's a breakdown of leadership, it's breakdown of common sense, it's breakdown of, I don't know whether it's lack of prioritization. Somewhere in the world, health is a priority of countries. And so if we cannot even subscribe fully to implementing the Abuja declarations that says 12% of your annual budget should be pushed to health. If you are not able to do even this, and you have people helping you, why would you want to tax donors who bring commodities that save lives in your country? It's preposterous. I just cannot get it. It is becoming, if you are not careful, you will say there's madness somewhere. Because
is there not?
We can't just believe it. And this advocacy, these talks we are civil society, it didn't start today.
When you
more
get
than a month we have been talking about.
When you get calls from the patients, some of whom you know, what kind of frustrations do they express to you?
It's serious.
Yeah.
So we say I don't know me no man say And I must say, I don't know what they say, oh, catch them saying, Baby, how will you respond? That is why we are running around everywhere calling on the president to do something. It's urgent, oh. It's so urgent that what it means, if we don't take time, we loom ourselves into a pandemic that you won't believe. As we speak, listen to the statement of Honorable Kwajima Menu at the United Nations General Assembly and high-level meeting on TB last year. It was clear. More than 35 people die of TB every day. Yes, it's daily.
In Ghana?
Yes. We are supposed to find 44,000 persons living with TB daily in Ghana here. We are not able to find up to 50% of this.
You can't trace them.
We can't trace because the resources are not available to move to where they are.
So if you have medicine that can prevent it, then
because treatment is prevention. But one of the surest way to prevent HIV, prevent TB, is to put those you have already identified on treatment. And once they are on treatment, spread is
curtailed. You curtail it, right?
And so we cannot joke. It's somebody, I don't know who else has power in the country. If there's anybody, if the presidential advisor is also frustrated and asking maybe me and you to talk, I don't know who we are talking to. That is why anywhere I go, I say, Your Excellency, do something. The president might do something.
I see. Ernest, where do we go from here?
Okay, so we are going to issue another statement today.
Right.
A strong-worded one, of course. And in that statement, we are announcing a demonstration.
Okay.
A very huge demonstration. I would like to use this platform to appeal to all well-meaning Ghanaians who care about the health of our population to join us in this demonstration. The planned date is 25th of this month, and we will, on that day, present a petition to the president, because we are very surprised that this issue has been going on for how many weeks now, and up to now there has been no executive action on this. So we are calling on all Ghanaians to support us in this action.
Is this the first time that Ghana is receiving such free medication, and this delay has happened? This is the first time.
In fact, it is the first time this is occurring anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world.
Where
And the Global Fund told us, the Global Fund told our health minister, told the Parliamentary Select Committee chair, he told all of us that this is the first time anything like this is happening anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. It's so embarrassing. And what was worse, I mean, I felt like running under the table when the man told us that he is surprised about what is happening in Ghana, because Ghana is a country that doesn't lack human resources. Can you believe that?
Literally telling us that you have the people, but your people are not thinking.
Exactly.
That's what it means.
I mean, it's very embarrassing. Ghana is a country that doesn't lack human resources. So I can't understand what is happening in your country. And these were his words. This is indefensible. This is inexcusable. These were his words. In front of all of us.
The white man looked at Minister of Health.
Yes, and
our parliamentary representatives.
Everybody was there and told us.
Director General of Ghana Health Service.
Everyone was there. And he told us, this is indefensible. This is inexcusable. We are tired of explaining to the donors what is happening in your country. Can you imagine? How low can we sink as a country? How low can we sink? How low? To the extent that the health of the people no longer matters to us. We have gone down into an abyss of total moral decadence.
Mr.
It's only about people's self-interest. Nothing else about the population, matters to any other person.
Mr. Chairman, are there political undertones?
We don't know. At this point, we don't know. At this point, we don't know.
Because for a country to literally reject an offer and a favor of this nature, because hitherto would have spent money to buy these medicines. And I'm sure it costs an arm and a leg to buy these medicines.
Exactly.
So why would we get it for free and refuse to accept it when we actually need it? Is it Ohien needs to bomb proud attitude or what?
We don't know. We don't know. We just don't know. We just don't know. And at this point, there's nobody in government that can claim that they've not heard of this particular story. So as to how our leaders are able to go to bed and sleep peacefully whilst the commodities rot away at the port, that is something I can never fathom.
What about the health professionals?
The health professionals, they are equally frustrated because they are government workers, they are unable to come out. You understand? But they are frustrated every single day. They call us that these commodities are run out in our facilities, and we can't work.
You have a new minister for health,
Bernard
Okoboy, a shining star, if you like. But is he aware of this situation?
He was in Geneva with
He led the delegation to the Geneva mission. I mean, he was the head of the delegation. Now, to be fair to him, he explained at that meeting that he was new and that he was going to do everything possible to resolve this matter. And he gave the Global Fund the end of June, to resolve this matter. Now, very interestingly, the entire delegation, including the minority side that was part of the delegation, all attested to the fact that yes, he is a very honorable minister. I mean, like you said, a very shining star.
Great guy.
Exactly. So, I mean, there was that consensus around the table that yes, he can do that. But it's been 2 weeks since we returned, and we still don't see any action. We still don't see it. Even if there are actions, we don't know about them.
The TB container is just one.
Just one.
It contains medication that will take us for the next 6 months.
Just one.
The next one will be on the way. The moment they clear that one, then they
ship the next one because they don't want it to expire.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's only one.
So okay. It's helpful that you brought this up. What's the breakdown? How many for malaria? How many for TB? TB is one. And how many for HIV? Do we know the breakdown?
We don't know the breakdown. Do you know why?
No.
Because of the black box I mentioned.
You've been kept in the dark.
We don't even know what is going on.
So it's like you are shaking hands with somebody, but it's in the dark. So you don't know if it's a monkey hand or a human hand.
We don't know. Because initially they told us that it was 182
containers.
But I can tell you, we are receiving information that the containers, as we speak now, they are in excess of 200. And these containers, some belong to other agencies, like UNICEF. Like, the other donors, they all have containers of shipment they've made to the country, and they are all wasting away at the port.
They're beyond part of the whole mix.
Beyond the Global Fund commodities, there are other ones which are equally wasting away at the ports. I can tell you this.
Which are shipped down by other
developments. And they are also supposed to be for free.
Yes.
They are, like UNICEF is importing medication for
everything is free.
I don't think
it's a big issue.
I think we are sick.
Yeah, it's a big issue.
I think we are sick.
No, something is wrong.
We need some examination.
Yeah, something is wrong.
This is not pleasant at all.
No. It's not. No. It's not.
Wow.
There are more, and you see, if we had not come out to raise this issue, trust me, these commodities would have just expired on the quiet, and they would have been disposed of, and nobody would have been aware that these commodities ever came to this country. Because 8 long weeks after our press conference and after the furore this generated, the commodities are still at the port. And the presidential advisor says what? As you know, so those who have the responsibility, who else will have the responsibility?
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service is a member of the country coordinating mechanism of the Global Fund.
Yes. Yeah. So we don't know what is going on. We don't know what is going on. So maybe, and that's why we are saying.
Is a member.
That's what we are saying.
Sraj is on.
Yes.
Commission for Human Rights.
Yes, they are part of the Global.
Who else is on?
Women ministries.
Women and gender,
yes,
local government, Ministry of Education,
right?
Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance too is there.
Ministry of Finance is also part.
Under who GRA is?
Yes.
Wow. And GRA is calling the shots.
Well, we don't know.
Well, but because the last time 14 containers were cleared, we saw the GRA, people with their lanyard and their blue uniform, they were there.
Yeah, because they said that for the taxes and all of that, the ones that were within their domain, they waived them off.
They have waived them.
Yes, the ones that were within their domain. But then it looks like the issues go beyond just that.
There's a third party somewhere.
Yes.
That is, so somebody is waiting for the cocoa to drop so they can pick. And because of that, people can die.
Yeah, people can die. The commodities can rot.
As we speak, TB drug is in shortage. Yes. If your medication they gave you as a TB patient finished and you go to the hospital today, you won't get.
And you can't buy it off the shelf.
No. It's not medication. These are not the drugs you can buy. You cannot buy antiretroviral drugs from a pharmacy outside Ghana Health Service. They are dangerous medications that are protected.
So you need prescription
and under strict
restrictions
by the doctor, by the specialists.
So even if a TB or HIV patient has money,
you can't buy it.
They can't buy. They will have to wait for what is coming.
Yes.
The government has not procured.
No.
Now this is being brought for free and has been left there.
You see, there's something else which is very interesting
quickly,
about the.
We need to wrap up.
Yes, there's something which is very interesting about the TB drugs. Do you know that as per our procurement laws,
right,
Ghana as a country is unable to buy TB drugs? The whole world, there's only one producer of that particular medication.
Right.
And they always require 100% upfront payments before the medications are released.
Right.
Now, government of Ghana says, as per our procurement laws, we cannot make 100% perform upward.
Right. Legislative limitation already are certain.
So because of that, we are unable to buy. So the only entity at this point buying commodities for TB treatment is Global Fund.
And that one too we say
and
we don't like.
That one too we will not clear.
We cannot clear.
And Ernest Ochin
and the TB container was on the country from the 10th of February. Yeah.
10th February.
Yeah.
And it's still there.
It's still there, yes.
Some have been there since May
last year. 2023.
Yes, the first batch came in May 2023. But we understand that even before
will they still be in good shape by the time
that
we
is now with doubt.
You have to check and do control.
Now we doubt.
And as such, thank you very much indeed for your time. He's the interim chairman, Global Fund Country Coordinating Mechanism Ghana. Also joining, who joined us, David Kwesi Afre, is Executive Secretary, Stop TB Partnership Ghana. We couldn't speak with Elsie. She's on her way to Accra, I'm told. She's the president of the National Association of Persons Living with HIV, and the network couldn't allow her to speak. But I'm sure yesterday when we spoke with her, she had expressed her misgivings as well. She thought that, well, this was insane. And I think that we need to escalate the conversation beyond. It should not be difficult for us to find a solution to this. It should never ever be difficult for us to find a solution. I don't understand. They bust my brain right now as a day. There's a lot of mojo going on this morning. And we'll take a break. On return, there's Womanpreneur on your network. We're talking weight loss and all the issues in between. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your time.